Hello and welcome to the Cloud Security Alliance's Cloud Controls Matrix review of the security implementation best practices for the security incident management, e-discovery, and cloud forensics, also known as the SCF domain. Cloud security incidents continue to affect organizations. The most severe can result in financial, reputational, and operational impacts to both the cloud service provider, the CSP, and the cloud service customer, the CSC. The SCF domain addresses crucial parts of cloud security incident management, starting with the security policy, the procedures for timely incident management, incident response plans and testing, metrics, incident triage, breach notification, and points of contact maintenance. My name is Alana James Akins. I'm a Senior Security Advisor at CGI and one of the authors of the Cloud Controls Matrix Implementation Guidelines. Presenting with me today is Talika.
Hi, I'm Tulika. I'm currently working with a global investment bank, leading the resilience policy governance and controls management. In today's session, we will cover a few of these topics that are mentioned. What is Cloud Control Matrix, the framework components, security domains, controls overview, CSP and CSC responsibility model, some top risk-based best practices, and then we conclude by sharing few key takeaways.
So what is the Cloud Controls Matrix? The Cloud Controls Matrix, or CCM, is the result of research driven by cloud customers, providers, and assurance professionals that simplifies implementation, assessments, and compliance across all clouds. It is aligned and mapped to global regulations and the most relevant security frameworks, and delineates security responsibilities for cloud service providers and customers with shared security responsibility model for SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS delivery models, indicating where there is a shared dependency, either dependent or independent per control. The CCM is the backbone of the CSA STAR program. This the most complete and largest cloud assurance program in the world, used to assess and compare cloud service providers and improve the security and trust of cloud computing. The CCM v4 framework components is comprised of the Controls Applicability Matrix, Implementation Guidelines, Core Controls, the Consensus Assessment Initiative Questionnaire or CAIQ for organizations to conduct self-assessments against CCM controls, auditing guidelines, the CCM Lite foundational controls, a condensed version of the CCM for small business use, the Shared Security Responsibilities Model, which is the SSRM guidelines, mappings to recent versions of NIST, ISO, CIS, among others, a gap analysis and addenda, and metrics, all available for free. So Talika, can you please share how the CCM can be leveraged by an organization?
Though there are many points, I would probably highlight key 5 points here. First, it enhances the cloud security and compliance posture. Second, it offers a very standardized security controls, which you can then customize to suit your organization environment. The third, it helps you align with the best practices. Fourth, it allows you to benchmark existing security controls. And last but not least, it maps controls to various regulatory frameworks such as GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS, etc. Now moving on to the next slide, Alana, can you share some top risk controls in SEF domain?
Yeah, so there are 8 controls in the SCF domain, all of which can be used to address various risks with security incident management, e-discovery, and cloud forensics. The first two address policy and procedures with the requirement to update the policy and procedures at least annually. The remaining are mostly technical controls. So starting with the SCF-01 control, the security incident management policy and procedures help organizations with establishing, documenting, approving, communicating, applying, evaluating, and maintaining their security incident management, e-discovery, and cloud forensics policies and procedures. The SCF-2 control, service management policy and procedures, covers policies and procedures for timely management of security incidents. The SCF-03 control incident response plans includes a list of common shared and non-shared security responsibilities between the CSP and the CSC in relation to incident response. The SCF-03 control addresses 4 of the CSA top 10 threats to cloud computing. Threats related to insufficient identity, credential, access key management and privileged accounts, unsecured third-party resources, misconfiguration and exploitation of serverless and container workloads, and cloud storage data exfiltration. SCF-4 is the incident response testing and addresses testing and updating the incident response plans. SCF-5, Incident Response Metrics Control, covers establishing and monitoring of security incident metrics, example, mean time to respond, or MTTR, mean time to identify, or TTI, the time to contain, TTC, data recovery time, DRT, to support effective incident management. SCF-06, the event triage processes, this control is shared dependent between the CSP and the CSC. This joint effort helps to identify the event's scope and potential impact, leading to a more targeted and efficient response. The SCF-6 control addresses 3 of the top CSA threats to cloud computing: misconfiguration and inadequate change control, misconfiguration and exploitation of serverless and container workloads, and cloud storage data exfiltration. SCF-07 is the security breach notification control, and this is a shared independent control both for the CSP and the CSC and are responsible for reporting security breaches. Assume security breaches, including any relevant supply chain breaches as per applicable SLA laws and regulations. And the last control is the SCF-8, points of contact maintenance. Both CSP and CSCs are responsible for maintaining and documenting the points of contact for applicable regulation authorities, national and local law enforcement, and other legal jurisdictional authorities.
Thank you, Alana, for that. Can you also elaborate on the most commonly expected shared responsibilities and how CSPs and CSCs learn more about it?
And so when implementing the controls for the SCF domain, 7 of the 8 controls are shared independent controls and only 1 is shared dependent. Both CSPs and CSCs are typically responsible to develop well-defined incident response plans, establish roles and responsibilities, implement metrics, report incidents to relevant stakeholders, and escalate procedures for addressing security incidents efficiently. A critical aspect of CSP and CSC collaboration is triaging potential security incidents that often requires a joint effort where the CSP can provide valuable insights into potential sources or root causes of the security event, while the CSC can contribute information specific to their data, configuration, applications, and user activity. So here are 4 potential risks with common shared security responsibility misunderstandings, the negative impact, and how the shared implementation responsibilities guidelines and the specific security incident management, e-discovery, and cloud forensics SCF control can help address the risk or reduce the impact. So the first risk is lack of clear roles and responsibilities between the cloud service provider and the cloud service customer. The impact is a pretty inefficient incident response plan and slows the response. The SSRM implementation guidelines define 5 of the most common shared roles and responsibilities between the CSC and the CSP for SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS models with regards to incident response. Use of a key shared security responsibility indicator can indicate where roles and responsibilities end to begin and the transfer direction, if it's from the CSP to the CSC or the CSC to the CSP. Please refer to the SCF-03's Incident Response Plans Implementation Guidelines for more information. The next risk is the untested incident response plan. Some cloud service customers may misunderstand the roles and responsibilities between the CSP and the CSC to test the plan. The impact is an ineffective incident response plan, ineffective or invalid steps, failures, and deviations from the plan will not be identified if the plan is not tested and updated. Perform an incident response plan testing periodically, either through paper walkthrough, tabletop exercise, or simulation with the participation of both the CSP and the CSC to verify the incident response plan's effectiveness using various event scenarios, and then update the plan accordingly. Please refer to SCF 04 Incident Response Testing Implementation Guidelines for more information. Another risk is the break in communication channels between the CSP and the CSC. If there's limited collaboration stream for triaging, it can impact the time to acknowledge and contain the incident. This increases incident impact, potential opportunities for lateral and vertical movement, cloud data exfiltration, or data loss. A communication plan and channel should be established for notifying relevant stakeholders, including internal teams, impacted CSCs, CSPs, and regulatory bodies to share relevant security incident information promptly. Use of a key shared security responsibility indicator indicate the transfer direction for communication in the channel between the CSP and the CSC or vice versa, and if a warm transfer is required. Please refer to SCF 06 Event Triage Process Implementation Guidelines for more information. The last risk is defined or expected breach notification timeframe is not followed. Impact is regulatory or potential legal penalties, delays with CSC or CSP's breach mitigation. Establish breach notification procedures channel in alignment with timeframe requirements. Please refer to SCF 07 Security Breach Notification Implementation Guidelines for more information. Please reference the useful links on the last slide to learn more about the shared implementation responsibilities. So next, we're going to review the implementation best practices. So Talika, please share the SCF domain implementation best practices and how these best practices can be used to address top risks.
Sure. So through this slide, we would highlight three key areas. First, what are the top risks that is relevant to SEF domain? Second, how CCM controls and guidelines be leveraged to mitigate them. And third, certain implementation responsibilities. So I'll start with the first one, which is incidents not documented appropriately. Well, how it can impact, it can lead to incorrect scoping and remediation efforts. How do we rectify it? Well, develop and maintain an incident documentation and categorization process. How to go about it? Do refer SEF 01, which lists out how to go about documenting incidents. The next one is on one of the most underrated but yet very common one that we have seen, lack of skilled or SMEs for resolution support. How it impacts, it can increase your response time and poor management of incidents. Well, how you rectify it, all personnel involved for incident and problem management must receive all required trainings. If you want to know more about it, do refer SEF 01, which also indicates what kind of trainings can be given to mitigate this risk. Moving on, problems not recorded or inappropriately linked. The impact for this is this can result in unresolved underlying issues and recurring incidents. How do we rectify this? Well, incident records must be closed with closure status and linked to a problem management statement. If you want to know more about it, do refer SEF 02 that gives you a good indication as to how the end-to-end life cycle of incident and problem management works. The next one, often we have seen incident handled without a predefined IRP. Yes, the impact is this will lead to inconsistent responses and ineffective incident handling. How to mitigate this? You have to establish your IRP that outlines the incident criteria, the severity levels, the roles and responsibility. I have called out few, but there are more which you can refer in SEF 03. The next one that you see, not closing incident tickets. The impact that will result is unresolved issues, inefficient resource allocation, and inaccurate reporting. Well, how you mitigate this? Incident closure must be validated at all times. Do refer SEF 05 in order to mitigate this. The next one, well, common issues, again, incident inappropriately classified during triaging. This can lead to delayed resolution and customer dissatisfaction. Well, how do you rectify this? Event triage process to be clearly defined, implemented, and periodically reviewed. Do refer SEF 06 in order to know how you and your CSP has to do that collectively. The last point, again, underrated one, but we have commonly seen in most of the areas, no up-to-date points of contact maintenance. Well, it can lead to delayed or missed communications. Do make sure that you annually review and update your points of contacts. Do refer SEF 08 how to go about it.
Thank you for elaborating on the SCF domain implementation best practices and how it addresses some of the top risks. So key points before we conclude. The CCM Security Incident Management, eDiscovery, and Cloud Forensics, or SCF domain, provides a standardized set of controls that can be consistently applied across different cloud service providers, ensuring uniform SCF measures. The SCF domain provides comprehensive coverage of incident and problem lifecycle management components, as well as policy development. It ensures compliance with multiple frameworks by leveraging the CCM mappings to various SCF regulatory requirements and industry best practices. It delineates what the CSPs and CSCs security responsibilities are in cloud implementation and translates cloud security best practices into contractual provisions for CSPs. The CCM SCF guideline can be leveraged to conduct gap analysis, to identify areas for improvement, correct and address deficiencies, and implement effective, most relevant security controls applicable to specific cloud platforms and architecture. The detailed guidelines give further control considerations relevant as per different service models, the IaaS, PaaS, or SaaS. And this concludes the presentation. Additional information and links are provided here. Thank you everyone for your time.